In today's lesson, I am going to teach you how to finally think and speak English. I'm going to explain the connection and give you a simple formula that will help you finally start speaking like a native English speaker. Are you ready? Well then, I am Teacher Joseph. Let's jump right in. Your goal is to speak English fluently, like a native English speaker. In order for you to speak English fluently, you must first think in English. One of the best methods that will help you think in English, like a native English speaker, is the 5 W's method. Now, I talk about the 5 ways method a lot, but today I am going to break it down and help you truly understand why the 5 ways method can literally change your English. That way, it's interesting, and our reader understands what is happening. One way we do this is by using the 5 W's of writing. The 5 ways of writing are who, what, when, where, why, one. Who. The first part of the 5 W's method is the who. According to this part of the method, thinking about the individual or individuals connected to a topic or situation will help you speak English more fluently. So, with our who, we talk about who was in the story. Who are our characters? For example, if I'm writing about a story about me going outside to play, I would talk about myself going outside. But maybe I'm going outside with my brother, and we were going outside to play. That is our who. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. Here's the first and main point. It is easy to remember the individuals connected to a topic or situation. You see, as an English learner, many times when you think about English fluency, you probably think about words and expressions, right? It happens. Even when I was learning French, I thought the same thing. I need to learn tons and tons of words and expressions. Now, that's true, but when it comes to English fluency, or speaking a language fluently, it's really about how you break down the information in your mind. The first part is the individuals. Think about the people that are involved in whatever you're speaking about. It doesn't matter what level you are right now. You can think about the people. Think about the person you ate lunch with yesterday. Immediately, that person's name or face pops up in your mind. So, the very first part of this method, again, is very simple. The emotional connection. The second point is this. When you think about the people connected to a topic or a situation, other thoughts will automatically be triggered because of the emotional connection you have to those people. This is true even if the emotional connection is not strong. For example, let's say you asked me, Teacher Joseph, can you tell me about your experience in French as an English teacher? Immediately, many of my students pop into my head, their faces, and then that leads to the emotional connection I had with my students, and still have with many of them. This is what happens when you start with the first part of the 5 W's method. Think about the individual, and immediately an emotion comes up. Maybe that person made you happy. Maybe you had a disagreement. The key here is that starting with who helps you trigger memories, emotions, and connections that make it easier to express yourself in English. And suddenly, you feel a little bit frustrated. It's important to first think about the individual or individuals involved with the topic you are discussing. The next point, visualizing helps you speak with more confidence. When you visualize the people connected to a topic or situation, you will feel more confident to speak for a longer period of time. It's very interesting. Yesterday, I actually had a private class with one of my students. He's a medical doctor and is currently living in Haiti. We were talking about his work, and all of a sudden, he mentioned the children he's able to help. I could tell the emotional connection he had with those children. He was able to talk even more because suddenly he was thinking about the who, the individuals connected to the topic we were discussing. So, this is the very first thing you must remember. Do you need to speak English fluently? Do you want to sound like me? Well, the first thing you need to do is think about the who, the individuals involved, the individuals connected to whatever topic you are discussing. Part 2. The what now. Part 2 is also very important. The second part of the 5 W's method is the what. What is happening in the story? What are you doing? For example, maybe my brother and I are going outside to play with a basketball. We used to have a basketball hoop, so maybe that's what we're doing. According to this part of the method, thinking about what actually happened will help you speak English more fluently. Now, again, before I break down this part, I want to emphasize we are focusing on the 5 W's, not the words you're using and not the expressions. Those things will naturally come because now you're feeling more confident to discuss the information connected to the topic instead of just the words or the grammar points. Trust me, this will change your English. Let's break it down. Here's the first thing I want you to focus on. This method puts emphasis on breaking down the details of a topic or situation. When we're talking about English fluency, we are focusing on how you organize your thoughts. For the what, part 2, you're focusing on what happened. What happened in the situation connected to the topic. For example, if you ask me, "Hey, Teacher Joseph, what's your favorite food?" The first thing I think about is my mom. Let me explain why. When I was growing up, my mom enjoyed cooking pure homemade food. I loved the meals she made. And now, when I think about my favorite food, I also start to think about what she did, how she prepared those meals and the joy she brought to our family dinners. This emotional connection not only helps me organize my thoughts, but also makes my story richer and easier to share. By focusing on the what, you can add depth to your conversations and gain more confidence in expressing yourself fluently. Lots of pure dishes when I was growing up, and I can continue explaining what she did, how she made the food. It's very easy for me because there are so many memories that I have. So, the what, again, start talking about the details related to the topic you're discussing. Point 2. Focus on what happened, not vocabulary. When you think about what happened, you won't stress as much about the vocabulary words. Instead, you will use the words you already have to try to explain what actually happened. This is so important. Listen, there are tons and tons of words in the English language. There are so many words that no one native English speaker knows all of them. However, native English speakers are able to use the words they do have to express their thoughts and ideas. So, when you, as an English learner, follow part 2 of the 5 W's method, when you focus on what happened and figure out how to use the vocabulary you do have, the expressions you do know, to describe or give details about a situation, all of a sudden, you will feel more confident. Instead of focusing on a grammar rule, a word, or an expression, now your focus is on describing what actually happened. You're trying to paint a picture, and the listener will be more engaged in what you're saying. This is what English fluency is all about, describing what's happening according to part 2 of the 5 W's method. Point 3. Giving important details. Thinking about what happened in a certain situation will help you give the most important details. In other words, the person listening to you will be able to understand your point of view. I think you're realizing now the importance of thinking in English and using the 5 W's method. We are literally focusing on delivering a message and explaining a situation. The first thing, who was involved? The second thing, what happened? You're painting this picture, and the listener is listening intently because your English is good, and you can do this. Part 3. The when now. Part 3 is also very, very important. The third part of the 5 W's method is the when. According to this part of the method, thinking about when something actually happened will help you speak English more fluently. When is the story taking place? Is it happening in the morning, the afternoon, or the night? Is it happening in the spring, summer, winter, or fall? So, talk about the when. Let me explain this a little bit more. Breakdown of the when. Explaining. When something happened helps you make a comparison with the past, the present, and the future of the situation. You see, instead of focusing on the vocabulary, words, expressions, and grammar rules, you only have 5 things to focus on. And now we're on part 3, the when. So, you've described the situation for part 2, the what, and now you're talking about when it happened. Last year. It was last year, about September. You see, you're giving this time period, and it's easy for you to remember when something happened, because that's not connected to a word you learned or an expression. No stress. It's connected to your experience, and that's how you speak English fluently, describing and explaining when something happened. Second point, describing time. Periods. By describing when something happens, it will help you clearly express the time period surrounding a specific situation. Remember, when it comes to English fluency, it's all about your ability to describe a certain situation and to help the listener. The listener is the most important thing. Does the listener understand what you are saying? Does the listener understand the time period? What happened? Who was involved? The more the listener understands, the more they will feel that you are a fluent English speaker. They'll think, wow, your English is really good. This happens because they understand, they see, and they can visualize in their mind what you are talking about. English fluency equals clear introductions. This is what English fluency is all about. Now, the third thing is that describing when something happens also helps you give a clear introduction as you begin giving your opinion or response. With the 5 W's method, it's okay to say things in a different order. The order is not important. However, when you are telling someone when something happened in connection to a situation, it's helpful. You're basically introducing something and laying out the playing field. You're setting the stage. Think about a movie. When a movie starts, it lets you know the time period of whatever is happening. It's the same thing with a conversation. When someone asks you a question, they want you to tell them a story, keep them engaged. When did it happen? What happened? Who was involved? You're literally telling a story whenever you're answering a question. So we have part 3. When. Explain when something happened. Part 4. Where now, the where. Part 4 is just as important. 4. Where. The fourth part of the 5 W's method is the where. According to this part of the method, thinking about where a situation actually occurred will help you speak English with confidence. Then we talk about where. Where is it happening? Is it happening at your house? Is it happening at someone else's house? Is it happening at the park or in a store? We talk about the setting, where it is taking place. You're focusing on the location, breaking it down. Talking about the where will help you speak for a longer period of time as you visualize the location. Think about it. Even when you were a child, it doesn't matter what country you're from, you can remember sitting down, watching a movie, listening to a story, and suddenly starting to imagine where the story happened. That doesn't change as we get older. We still, just like children, want to visualize what's happening in our minds as someone is speaking. So, for you to speak English fluently. Part 4. Explaining where something happened is crucial. Example. Think about this image right here. This video happening in the background. You can describe where, they're on this back road. It looks like they're in this small town. I can give you more details, and you start to visualize the location. Point 2. Memories triggered by locations. When you think about where something happened, Other memories will flood in or start to come in. They help you give a more fluent English response. Now we're getting these triggers. As you speak about the small town or the back road, suddenly other things will pop into your mind and help you speak a little bit longer while giving the right information. English fluency is not about speaking for hours and hours. It's really about giving the key information. But when you follow the 5 W's method, it will help you give the key information clearly and easily. The importance of location. For the fourth part, the where, talking about the location, helps you give a more fluent response. Visualizing helps you speak with more confidence. So, when you visualize where something happened, you will feel more confident to speak for a longer period of time. Practical example. Earlier, I mentioned my favorite food. I enjoy banana nut bread. Now we have 4 W's so far. Who? My mom. What? The first time she made banana nut bread. When? I was about 3 years old. Where? In my kitchen. Now I can continue talking about what happened. Why? As soon as I answered each of the W's, I immediately was taken back in my mind to that situation, leaning against the table, looking at my mom taking the banana nut bread out of the oven. I was only 3, but I still remember that situation. So I can speak fluently about that moment because I have visualized it. I know where it happened, and I can describe the location to you. Why? This is important. This part of the 5 W's method is so important. Once again, visualizing where something happened will help you feel more confident. You're just talking about your experience. And that's what will give you confidence and help you speak English more fluently. Why? Now, the fifth part of the 5 W's method is the why. According to this part of the method, thinking about why you have a certain idea will help you speak English with confidence. And then we talk about why. Why is it happening? For example, if I were writing a story, I might say, one beautiful spring day, my brother and I decided to go outside to play basketball. So we went into our driveway and started to shoot some hoops. While playing basketball, I got 7 points and he only got 4. I was so proud of myself because I had never won a basketball game before. Why is important people want to know why you think the way you do? Point 1. Supporting ideas. Thinking about the why will help you support your ideas with more confidence. As an English learner, your goal is to speak English like a native speaker. One thing that I'm able to do because of practice, I learned this in high school, is to support everything I say by explaining why I think the way I do. I've told you many times before, I love, absolutely love, being your English teacher. I am passionate about helping you achieve your English goals, and I can give you the reason why. The purpose of my life is to help other people experience more in their lives, to help you have a better life, and to help you be happy. I'm excited to serve others. I can give you more reasons. Again, I'm giving you the why for my idea or opinion. This is a major part of speaking English fluently. Point 2. Clarifying ideas. When you think about why you believe a certain way, you will be able to clarify your idea. English fluency is all about the way you think. When you're able to organize your thoughts, you can then speak English with clarity. People will be able to understand you and it'll be easy, just like you're watching this lesson. I think you're following along, right? It's easy to understand what I'm saying because I'm breaking down this difficult idea of speaking English fluently into this simple 5 W's method. Speaking with clarity, giving the reason, will help clarify your ideas and help the listener understand. Point 3. Building confidence. The more you understand why you think the way you do, the easier it will be for you to speak English with confidence. When you organize your thoughts, just like I organized this lesson before I started recording it, you'll feel confident. I feel confident teaching this to you because I've organized it in my mind. If I hadn't organized it, I'd feel disheveled and frustrated. But when you organize your mind, you gain confidence. That's how you speak English fluently. Closing. Now, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. The 5 W's method will help you speak English fluently. Don't forget, if you want to keep studying with me, I have lessons prepared for the entire year to help you improve your English and speak with confidence. I'll talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Today, I want to tell you about something that happened maybe about a year and a half ago. Just to give you a little more about me, I am a very frugal person. Frugal means I spend money wisely. I don't spend lots of money on things. I save and invest. My friend was turning 40 and had a huge all-white party. We had to get an all-white outfit. I don't mind spending on friends, so I agreed. At the time, I didn't have anything to wear, so I decided to go shopping. I don't shop often, just once or twice a year. I went to a few stores and finally found an outfit I liked. I went to the dressing room, tried it on, and thought, I look good. But then I saw the price tag, over $60 for a simple shirt. Now, maybe you spend more on shirts, but I'm frugal. I don't like spending a lot on simple things. The shirt was nice, but it was just a basic shirt. When I glanced at the price tag, I considered using the money for something else. I was mentally figuring out other ways to allocate the funds more effectively. However, since my friend's all-white party was the next day and I had no time to shop elsewhere, I decided to treat myself. It wasn't that I didn't have the money, I just wasn't eager to spend that much on a shirt. In the end, I bought the outfit, the shirt, and the pants. It looked great on me, and I thought it would be worth it for the party and the photos. Fast forward a year and a half, and that shirt has turned into one of my favorites. I wear it often and always feel great in it. What's the lesson? Sometimes it's okay to pamper yourself. Spending a little extra on something you enjoy can be rewarding and boost your self-esteem. It's not something you should do all the time, but occasional splurges are perfectly fine. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest videos. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Happy learning, everyone.